Hey guys, no video for our healthcare in Japan playlist. We're going to show you about a week's worth of meals in a Japanese hospital in order. So it's breakfast, lunch and dinner, and then the next day's breakfast, lunch and dinner, and the next day's breakfast, lunch and dinner in order, in sequence as it came. So the old guy hadn't eaten for 5 days, no food at all for 5 days. So these were the first meals. So obviously very watery, a yogurt drink there to get the system going, and then just really watery, sort of soft stuff to get started on, and small quantities. And then slowly, as you'll see, the quantities slowly stepped up. So some of you are probably watching this thinking, geez, that looks pretty good. Some of that's made of a sort of a mochi type ingredient that makes it sort of like jelly. That was actually not too bad. That was the miso soup. The miso is being drunk. There's just a bit of tofu left, and this is the rice, and it's just obviously really watery to be considerate to the system, but just no flavor. So from now on we're going to be referring to that rice as gruel. And then tofu. You'll soon see, if you spend time in a Japanese hospital, you'd better like rice and tofu and miso soup, because that's the fundamental of every meal 3 times a day, just about. So a few other things there too. There's an apple there with no flavor. Really hard to know how they managed to remove the flavor from everything. And again, if you were to sit down to one of these meals, it probably wouldn't be too bad, but as you'll see, 3 times a day, pretty much the same thing, and they have an amazing skill to be able to prepare vegetables in exactly the same way and end up with exactly the same sort of neutral flavor to all the vegetables. So we'll refer to the rice as gruel from now on, and then the tofu will be known as the damn tofu, because it came with an element of disappointment every time. And again, some of you might like tofu. Those of you who don't, you would not enjoy these meals at all. There's tofu in the miso every time, so there's tofu hidden in the bottom of that miso bowl. And those of you who do like tofu, that's great, but if you are having tofu 3 times a day, you might find that you don't like it so much. So so there it is again. See, this is the next meal. This is the very next meal. That's sort of a potato there on the left hand side, sundry vegetables. You guys know those long skinny crunchy things, and then of course the gruel and the damn tofu. So, oh, that egg thing was good. That's yaki tamago. There's potato there with no flavor at all, and some what's that vegetable? That vegetable, the green vegetable, miso soup again, gruel, and then this thing was good, yaki tamago. So it's just baked egg. But see the ketchup on the right hand side? That was heaven. That was absolutely excellent. So trying not to be too negative or critical about this, but in all fairness, the actual hospital staff themselves were a little bit quietly critical of the food, the lack of variety, and you know, apparently it's quite well accepted that the flavor's a bit bland and the variety's a bit lacking. There's the gruel. Pumpkin, that wasn't actually bad, that pumpkin. And this thing, again with the baked egg, that was just such a high point. And then that's the bottom right there, that's grape jelly, that was excellent. And then tea, haven't mentioned the tea yet. Tea with every meal, again 3 times a day. And sometimes cold, sometimes hot. That seemed to be very random how the tea came. Green stuff, really hard to get down, sort of like a spinach. Excellent banana, thank you banana. Tea, gruel, daikon, and damn tofu. You getting the idea? If you guys find you're sick of looking at the same thing again and again in this video, then you've got the idea. The idea of the video has come across. So obviously, if you have to serve big numbers of people, big numbers of Japanese people, and you need to pick a menu, obviously these menus are the safest menus, because this is this menu is going to appeal to the majority of Japanese people. They're going to be quite happy. The other old guys in the room were happy to, you know, you could tell by the sounds. Japanese guys are notorious for it's sort of like showing enthusiasm for the food by being noisy. So you would not believe the amount of noise that one Japanese guy can create with a dish of food like this, with a plate of food. Oh, that egg thing! Look at the egg thing with on there with onion in it. That was excellent. That was really good. And what's that called? Eggplant. And yeah, all good. But yeah, the old guys, you would not believe the noise that one old guy can create. And not all old guys, one of them was about 25. So the Japanese guys, the noise they can make, the sipping and the slurping, that was good, that egg thing, egg and vegetable thing. Sipping and slurping and smacking the lips and umming and ahhing and satisfied ah sounds. And it's sort of considered, a lot of Japanese people think that when a man eats quickly and noisily and shows enthusiasm for his food, that it's healthy, that style of enthusiasm for food shows that he's healthy. And they've just done it all their lives, most of these guys, and they don't even know they're doing it. And even when there was other people in the room who couldn't eat because they just had procedures and operations and things, these guys still carry on with all the noise and all the oohing and ahhing and you know, big satisfied sounds and things, which sort of came across, that egg thing was good, sort of came across as a bit sort of heartless, really, because there was guys in the room who hadn't eaten, and obviously it was difficult for them to have to listen to it. But it's difficult for anyone. It's such a symphony of noise, you know. 3 guys, there's 4 guys in the room in total. Of course our old guy's really quiet, but the other 3, just a symphony of noise. Noisy buggers. So look, it's all right. You can survive on it. The old guy in 14 days, 5 days of no eating, and then 9 days of eating this stuff, the old guy dropped 8 kilos. So obviously this stuff is not providing, that egg thing was good too, this stuff is not providing enough, obviously, to be able to maintain your weight, which is hard when you're trying to recover from something. You know, you really need a bit of extra energy, whereas in actual fact this was a bit of a deficiency in this. And there's the damn tofu again. You're getting the idea about the tofu? Potato with the flavour washed out of it. Those little crunchy things are good, they're alright. And the melon, of course, and the tea. So yeah, probably hospital food around the world. It actually, should mention, we have a family member who spent some time in a very small private hospital that had a chef. And every meal looked like an a la carte meal. So that was particularly impressive, but it was obviously expensive. Whereas they actually reckon that we're charged 60 yen, about 60 cents a meal for these state hospital meals. So anyway, there it was. Hospital food in Japan. More videos coming soon.